Good evening, Boache here.
Okay, it's a pleasure meeting all of you. So we have Boache, we have Ebenezer Key, and then we have Gloria in our midst. So I'm also Ebenezer, and I don't know if we are set. Is there anyone behind? Oh, okay, so today's program is on cave conversation. And the program is being sponsored and brought to you by Kuche Foundation. So I have here with me, can you please introduce yourselves?
So I am Boache Joe. I'm here to talk about societal pressures on manhood as discussed in the email. And I hope to learn something too from today. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Please, the next person to do the next introduction. Hello, Douglas, can you please introduce yourself to us?
Okay, please. I'm called Odoy Douglas, student at the University for Development Studies, offering Bachelor of Science Mechanical Engineering. Please, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can clearly hear you.
All right. Okay, sure.
Okay, so thank you all for having you here. So as we all know, for the program for today, we wouldn't waste much time. We just set the ball rolling.
Okay.
Okay, so our question for today is, when only her side matters, why men remain silent in relationship fights? So that is our main topic for the day. So as men or as gentlemen or as upcoming gentlemen, when you are in a relationship and there is a fight or there is an argument, why do we remain silent? So any of us can start. So I'll start with Momoni. Okay, Douglas, I can see you want to start. Please go ahead.
If I'm to get a question right, you say when there is a problem, why is it that men mostly keep silence, right?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Hello.
Yes,
okay,
please.
Yeah. So, in my suggestion, I think that it's a mutual respect. You see, most men doesn't go after a problem as it is. You have to sit and analyze the problem before you even vent. So, from my field and the idea I have, I think the reason most men keep silent.
We lost Douglas. That's so sad. Okay. Hello, Boachi.
Yes, I'm here.
Please, can you go ahead with your submission?
Okay, sorry for that. So, why men mostly remain silent in a relationship when abused or mistreated? I would say there are a number of reasons. But in my case, I would say it is mostly due to the masculine norm of the day and the social stigma attached to it. Because society has taught men, and even from boys when we are young, that you don't have to show any sign of weakness. Boys don't cry, boys are strong. And in anything, you are told to man up or tough it out. So when we grow up and then in a relationship or anywhere, men usually get abused or they are mistreated. Since they have been groomed in such a way, they feel that society may look down on them, so they have to man up and tough it up, just as they learned from childhood. So that is one of the reasons I think men mostly remain silent whenever abused or mistreated. Thank you.
Okay, but don't you also think that when an argument or in a relationship, when there is an argument, when you keep silent, maybe the lady might think maybe she's right. That is why you've kept quiet. Don't you imagine such an idea of the lady, or don't you have that perspective if you were the lady?
That is also there. That is true. Some ladies have that view, but in the man's case, he has decided to man up and to find a different way to deal with his emotions. But the truth being told that if you push him to the wall, he's definitely going to break and snap back. So that is also another topic for another day. But usually, the men have to just keep quiet and allow the women to do what they can do. And another day, he is going to find an answer to his problems.
Okay, that's right. That's right. Okay, thank you, Boache, for your nice contribution. Please, Douglas, let me come back to you. The network was a little bit disturbing you. So if you can clearly hear me, can you please come again with your suggestion?
Okay, thank you as well. I was just suggesting that the reason why men mostly don't talk or give up like an action during a problem is that I think it's a form of mutual respect. And for me personally, you see, we don't mostly go and face the problem. We have to sit down, analyze it, and get to know more about it before we just react to that particular statement. So I think most of the times, most men don't mostly react to problems because they first want to analyze it before looking onto a situation where you may even react and later regret of doing it. So I think that's the reason why most men don't go into that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Douglas. Please let me come to Mumuni. Can you please hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, please, you can go ahead.
My network was disturbing me over here, so I wasn't able to join the meeting earlier. So please,
No
can you
problem. So
brief me?
the question for the day is, when only her side matters, why men remain silent in relationship fights? When you are in a relationship and there is an argument, there is a fight, why do men, or why will you remain silent? What are your reasons?
Okay. Well, with this one, like I have two answers to the questions your question you are asking. First of
Oh,
all,
feel free to bring it.
yeah, okay. First of all, I think the reason why they always remain silent is that naturally ladies have this thing. If they have an issue with someone, they are quick to react than men. So why men always keep quiet is that they want to see their reaction before they will take further steps in handling whatever that was happening between them. And the second answer to the question is that I don't know whether any one of you have heard this one, that ladies think shallow. They don't think deep into things. So the reason why they always keep quiet is that, definitely they think shallow. So anything that comes out of their mouth or anything that they want to do, they will just do it without thinking deeply into the matter. So I think those are the two reasons why men always keep quiet or delay in reacting if there is an issue in a relationship.
Okay, so thank you for your nice contribution. Please let me go back to Ebenezer Koti. Am I right with your name?
Yeah,
Okay. So please, what do you also think?
I think since childhood, they were like men don't react to things like quickly. Like, you don't just react to something, you just have to sit down and analyze stuff. But then no, I think it's society. Society has made us so emotionless or something of the sort, where you become nonchalant and all those stuff because you're a man. All these strings attached to being masculine, and so it's right from the start that this thing stems from.
Okay, so we have an example here. Ajua T and Paradise Online breakup. Ajua aired her side publicly, while Paradise stayed silent and got judged. So that is an example we are getting from the main topic. Okay, I thank you all for your nice contribution, but I also think that reason why men remain silent whenever there is a disagreement or there's a conflict in a relationship is that men don't want the situation to escalate. They don't want to worsen or increase the intensity of the conflict or the fight. Okay, so they rather stay with mute, silent, just to let the lady, talk, do whatever she wants to do, and at the end of the day, she will calm down, right? So let's analyze or let's practically see this. Whenever you quench fire, okay, and whenever you want to increase the intensity of fire, okay, the more you put in firewood, the more the fire what increases. The rate at which it produces heat what increases, right? But when you don't put in more firewood, you could see that the intensity of the burning what will reduce. So I think you are all right. You are all right. Thank you all for your nice suggestion. Now let's go to I have some sub questions I would like to ask, and then we see how best we can answer them. Okay, so the first question is how can partners create a safe space for both voices to be heard? We are in a relationship and then we want to create a safe space so that our voices can be heard. Okay, how do we do that? What are some of the ways we can do that? So I'll start with Mumuni.
Yeah. So if I heard your question right, what are some of the spaces that partners can create to make their relationship work more better between them, right?
Yes, or a safe space for both voices to be heard in a relationship when there is a conflict.
So first of all, I would say they should work on their communication. Anything that happens between them might, in one way or the other, be as a result of miscommunication or misunderstanding of what they communicated earlier about. So in order to create a better space or a safer space for their relationship, I think they should work more on their communication.
Okay, so if I clearly get you, you are saying that whenever there is a conflict or there is a disagreement, both partners should listen to each other. Okay, that is, they should communicate to them. Oh, maybe this is the reason why this thing would happen. Okay, I hope I
Exactly.
get you.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I meant.
Okay. That's a nice point. Thank you, Mumuni. Please let's come to Ebenezer Kote. Ebenezer Kote.
Hello.
Please, what do you?
Hello.
Yeah. Ebenezer, yeah, please, we can hear you.
Yeah. Is it on the same question?
The question is, how can partners create a safe space for both voices to be heard? We are still under the main topic.
Okay. So I think it's all about communication and then trusting each other. When you trust each other, it's easy for you guys to communicate because you know that you trust this person, so you are free to have any conversation or whatever you have to say with the person, and
Good
then there
evening,
will
no.
be a
Junior, I do good though. That's fine.
Um,
who is there?
okay, you can go. You can go on. You can go on.
Yeah, so when there's trust, the person has a free role to communicate whatever it is, and then I think men should also do well with like communication because sometimes it sucks. It's so bad on the male side because male like you, instead of us talking, we tend to like stay mute and then watch what things instead of us speaking up and then making things right between us.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Douglas, please, what will you also want to add it to it? Douglas, what are your thoughts on how partners can create safe space and for both voices to be heard? Hello, Mr. Douglas.
Hello, please, can you hear me?
Yes, please, we can hear you.
All right. So, whenever there is a situation,
Please go ahead. Hello, Douglas. Okay, so while we wait for Douglas, we go ahead with I think everybody has spoken, right? Has everybody spoken?
I think Boachi hasn't spoken. On
Boachi,
this
please,
particular-
what are you?
Hello.
Yeah, Boachi. I believe you clearly heard the question. Hello, Boachi.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, so please, what are your
Okay,
thoughts?
so I think that in every relationship there should be someone as a guider, someone who guides, someone more mature. So if there is an issue, the couples can take it over to such person to help them. That may that person may create a safe space so that both voices will be heard. In such a relationship, you can be sure that if it leads to marriage, it will have a long way to go. Thank you.
So can you give us an example, a recommended person the partners can see for an advice? You know, it is not everyone, partners can seek for advice from.
Of course, of course. So if the relationship is one that is known by the parents, as in the father of the woman or the father of the man, if that relationship, such person can be the mediator. Or let's say a person at church a well-respected person at church, maybe a pastor or a religious person. Such person can also be serving that purpose.
Okay, you are right.
Okay,
You are right. Yeah.
but I think someone being mature in a relationship doesn't validate the fact that the person can guide or maybe make things right. Or if I'm not wrong, is it always like that?
Okay, so even you are saying that someone who is matured, right, will not seek guidance. Is that what you are
No,
trying
like
to
I'm trying
say?
to, it was according to his speech. So like sometimes you need people to guide you. So like maybe the person who is matured in the relationship should come out and then talk things out with their partners. But then sometimes being mature doesn't validate the fact that the person can guide a partner in a relationship. Sometimes they tend to be the opposite of what their age demands.
Yes, yes, that's true. That's true. So I also think that someone who is matured and then has gone through that process before, okay, he or she could be the right person to advise or advise both what parties. The person has been into a relationship or has married before, so in marriage they face a whole lot of challenges, and sometimes it's not all marriage couple will come out to tell you every story, whether bitter or sweet. They don't tell everything to us. Okay, they go through a whole lot of things and then they find ways to solve it, and so that at the end of the day their marriage can last longer. So I think you are right with that. Okay, so I also think that another way couples can create a safe atmosphere so that both voices can be heard is when they exercise patience. Okay, when there is an issue, you need to listen to your partner and know where the issue or know where they know the cause of the issue, so that you all agree on one thing or you all agree on settling the issue. Okay, so you need to exercise patience. Exercise patience. So there's an adage that patience what moves mountain. Yes, so that is what I also think. I can see Mumuni's hand up. Mumuni, yes, you can talk, Mumuni.
So
Hello,
what I
Mumuni.
wanted to add to the question is that, in a relationship, if you are too close with each other, it will come to a point that you guys, you'll be fed up with one another, and in that situation a problem can occur. You can have a conflict. So I think in every relationship, at a point in time, you should try to give each other space so that both of you can get some things that might have caused conflict off your head for a particular point in time. Then you can come back again to continue with your relationship.
Mumuni.
Okay, yeah,
Mumuni.
Douglas, do you have something to say about Mumuni's point?
Actually,
Yeah, Douglas, I can see you have something to tell us. Please tell us.
within some seconds for me.
Mumuni, Douglas, please come again. I didn't hear what you said. Okay, so while we wait on Douglas, I'll quickly go to Ebenezer. Eben, please unmute your mic and talk.
Yeah, Mumuni, my question is, how about married people who live under the same roof? How about that too? Should they move out, go to their parents' house, and then have some time with their families and then come back? or how, or you mean relationship as in like you're not yet married or something?
If I talk of giving yourself some space, it doesn't just mean like you should move away from staying with each other. You can be with each other, but at least the things that you used to do, you limit them. You don't do it as the way you used to do that. It will make you like a kind of too close that maybe things might have happened because of that.
Can you mention some example?
Come again.
Can you mention an example of some things that should be limited?
Okay, like with the marriage part, I can't actually mention, but as in being in a relationship with someone,
Okay, so let's go into the relationship. Let's go into relationship.
yeah, so being in a relationship with someone, sometimes if you're too clingy with a person or your partner, it will come to a point in time that like the person you are too clingy to or with is a kind of fed up, and the person might have wanted space, but because you guys are already in a relationship, the person will be feeling some way or will find it very difficult to tell you, because it may he or she may think that it may be of insecurity to you if he tells you that the way you are clingy to him or with him, he's not comfortable with that or she's not comfortable with that.
Okay. Yeah, I do agree with Mumuni a little bit. Sometimes when you are too close to your partner very well, okay, the way they react to you changes. As in when you are when you limit yourselves to them, okay. So that is what Mumuni is trying to say. So Mumuni, I get you. I get you. Thanks for your nice suggestion. So Mumuni is not saying that we should distance ourselves from our partners totally. That is not what he is saying. So just a partial limit to our partners. That's nice. Okay. So the next sub question is, what healthy alternatives to silence can men use during arguments? What healthy alternatives to silence can men use during arguments? So, what other ways or what other procedures can we use instead of keeping silence when there is an argument? If we don't want to keep a mute, what do we do instead? Apart from keeping mute, what do we have to do? I believe you all got the question. Okay, so I'll start with Boache.
Yes, I'm here. Okay, so if a man is under pressure in his relationship and doesn't want to keep mute, I think the best thing for him to do is to talk, is to express himself. He should find a trusted source, someone he can trust in, and he should tell him what he's going through. And if there's any help, then they take it from there. But if you said you will keep everything to yourself, then you're going to die young.
Okay, that's a nice point. Mumini, please, can you come with your suggestion? What do you also think?
Yeah, so like with my suggestion, as a man in this kind of situation, what I would think of is, if the situation, if it happens, first of all, I will let the lady calm down. Like immediately, I won't approach her. For some time, I will let her calm down. Then after that, I'll try to talk to her. Then with the talking I'm beginning with, I don't talk about the situation in hand. I come with other things. So like there jokingly, then I will see how behavior will be. Then I will now come to talk about that one. If I can, in my will, then I will give her some advices or things that I think she should have done for the situation not to happen. So I think that's what I would have done if I'm in that situation.
Ebenezer Kote, please, what do you also think? Hello, Eben. Okay, so while we wait for Eben, Boache, please, you can go ahead.
Okay, so is there another question I have to answer?
Yeah, we are still on the same question. Another alternative
Okay.
way men can, can come out of the silence when there is a disagreement or when there is a conflict, so that's right.
Okay. So yes. So this issue is one that is very, very important, that it may even lead to either them separating or breaking up, a worst case scenario. So it should be tread on carefully. So just as I submitted earlier, you can confide in someone that you trust in, and then they can come together, sit down with the concerned parties, and then discuss the matter into detail. If that does not work, then I think that the man should, the man in this, the man should find a way to express his feelings to the woman. Not confrontational, but just as a member rightly said, he was going to go around talking about other matters, then it will lead to what he wants to talk about. I think that is also going to be, in my case, I haven't had any experience in such matters before, but I think that will be a good one also.
Okay, so thank you very much. So once you are in a relationship, or if you are not in a relationship, once you are a man, you definitely get into one, and then you by all means encounter a similar one, and you know how best you can handle it. Okay, so we have two more questions to do away with. So the next one is, how does emotional withdrawal contribute to relationship breakdown? How does emotional withdrawal contribute to relationship breakdown? So with this one, Mumuni, I can see you want to start with it, so you can go ahead,
So
Mumuni.
I had wanted you to talk more about the emotional withdrawal, what that one is about. This can you get me?
Okay, so yeah, I clearly get you. So the emotional withdrawal, okay, has to do with when you don't have any feeling, okay, when you don't have any feeling for your partner, when there's a disagreement, okay, when you withdraw from the relationship, what are the when you don't have emotional feelings for your partner, what
So
contribute to the
I think
breakdown
I've
of the
gotten what.
relationship? Do you get what
Okay,
I'm
I think
saying?
I've gotten what you want. Yeah, I understood what you are trying to
The
say.
way you used to love the person, care for the person, how does it lead to, or how does it contribute to the breakdown of the relationship?
That's true. Like I think it contribute like more than 80% of the breakdown. because it's emotion that drives her to do whatever thing we do in a relationship. And without emotions too, I don't think even and without emotions too, I don't think there is a way forward in solving anything that happens between you and your partner. So I think emotions contribute like significantly more than 80% in relationship breakups.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's go to Bwanche. Bwanche, what do you also have to say about this?
Okay, so when such abuse begins and the relationship is a bit rocky, the man not wanting to express himself, as rightly said, will begin to distance himself emotionally. Yeah, this can also have the woman or the women in the relationship will read it differently. He may think that this man maybe is going behind her back, having relationship somewhere else. It's going to have a different meaning. So the best thing is to speak up, not to remain silent and to withdraw yourself. And so I think that's the women read and see things differently. You being quiet may mean something else to her. So you just have to talk.
Okay. Ebenezer, Kote, what do you also have to say?
I was having network fluctuation. Can you reiterate the question?
Okay, so the question is, how does emotional withdrawal contribute to relationship breakdown? How does emotional withdrawal contribute to relationship breakdown? Is it clear to you?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I feel
Okay.
emotional withdrawal like is really a bad thing like to do, because like how are you in love and then you're not showing emotions, you're not putting in the effort to show that you love the person, and then I think it will create an imbalance between the couples, which will have them going their separate ways. So I think having emotions should be constant, it should be consistent, and then it should be clear so that both people in the relationship would know that, oh, this person is actually saying what they said at the beginning, and then they are continuing to put in more action about that. So I think emotional withdrawal will have a bad effect, negative effect in the relationship if it continues to go on like that.
Okay. So I also think that when there is emotional withdrawal, there's going to be mistrust. Okay. Now the partners involved or the partners in the relationship are not going to trust each other. Okay. The things they used to do at first has finally changed. Okay. The initial things are no more happening. Okay. So Ajua T is not going to trust promise anymore. You get it? Right. So there's going to be mistrust. Okay. When you go out and then maybe you come late, your partner will be thinking what otherwise. Oh, maybe you went to see another lady, that is why you came late, and all sort of stuff. Okay. And thank you all for your beautiful and then your great response. Okay, so we will take our last sub question for the day and then we draw the curtains down. So our next question is, what emotional needs are men trying to protect when they choose silence? So what emotional needs are we men trying to protect when we choose silence or when we remain silent? What at all are we preserving? So I'll start
think-
with okay, yeah, Ebenezer, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Like I think we want to preserve sanity, and then also, as we said earlier on, we don't want to be like, if we talk, we have to study, analyze, and then know what's going on before we. But if we see something and then we'll be the bad person, so like it's like you are being desperate about something, so like we tend to be quiet and then observe things. So that's how I feel.
Okay, thumbs up for that. Mumuni, please, what do you also have to say?
Peter, I didn't get the question.
So the question is, what emotional needs are men trying to protect when they choose silence? What feelings are men trying to protect when they choose silence? What feelings within that we mostly preserve when we keep quiet? Why do we do that? What is it? So some of the reasons. Is it clear to you?
Hello?
Yeah,
My
Mumuni,
network
did you
is bad over here. Yeah, I had the question. So I think first of all, what they always want to protect is trust.
Okay,
Because
trust.
in a situation where you are tampering with someone's emotion, then that means before you even tamper with that, you have an issue with whatever thing the person is doing. And in that way, I think you are relating to the trust that you have for that person.
Okay. Yeah, we are
Yeah.
right in a way. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Let me come to Waji, please, have you spoken?
Not yet. I haven't.
Okay, so please give us a suggestion on this.
Okay, so I think most men are trying to protect their ego or their pride. In a way, people may not believe that in the relationship they are being abused or mistreated. So that going out may also make them feel a little weak. So in order to protect their ego and pride, they may suppress such emotions and keep it to themselves.
Okay, thank you, Boachi. So I also think that most men want to show what respect. Okay, they want to show respect. That is why they mostly remain silence. So they want to respect their partner. Okay, you know, some partners are so sweet to the level that sometimes when they offend us, okay, we find it very difficult retaliating back. Okay, so when something like that happens, you have to know that that is not the usual person you used to know. Okay, so you need to exercise this ability just to give the maximum respect to your partner. Okay, yes. So that is what I would also like to say. Okay, so I think that is all the question for the day. But I don't know if individually, if you also want to bring some question on board relating to the matter, you can bring it out and then we talk about it. Okay, Ebenezer, please, the floor is yours.
Okay, so weighing the pros and cons about being quiet, about men being quiet in the relationship, what do you all think is weighs more? Is it the pros or the cons? Should we still remain silent, or we should try to speak?
Okay. Okay. Before we answer that, okay, Mumuni, please hold on. Let's try and answer the question Ebenezer brought. So Ebenezer is saying that should we continue to remain silent? So I would say it depends. It depends. You know, it is not always that men we have to remain silent. Okay, it depends on the situation. You know, when it continues, when the conflict persists, it continues. Okay, you need to voice out. If not, Charlie, silence will kill you. You will die. You will die within. Okay, so when it continues and then you can't handle it, then you need to voice out. You need to voice out. If not, you kill your soul gradually. So that is what I will think. I will say. Okay. Please. What? Okay, Mumuni. Please go ahead.
To add up with what you said, so if you consistently you talk about it, then it's not there is no improvement in what you are saying. To me, what I think you should do is that if it happens again, then you keep quiet, then watch the way things are going to move on. If it will be that you keeping quiet will let it end that way, at least, it's not everyone that is meant to be in your life forever. So that person can go, then you have your peace of mind at least.
Okay, yeah, yes, Mumun is right. Mumun is right. Let's see, Boachi, do you also have something to say? Or if you have a question to share with us?
Oh, I have no question, but I'm really loving Mumuni's submission. He's very good with it. I'm sure he has been in such a relationship. I would like to ask if he has been in such a relationship before.
Yes, Mumuni, we have to know.
No, not in a relationship per se, but a kind of friendship that we're so attached to each other. Then it really happened and things really go the way we didn't want it to go, but it has to go that way.
Okay, I hope one day you find someone and then you experience how, real relationship is. Yes.
Okay.
And as a man, you will. Okay, please, is there any question? If anyone would like to bring it. If
So I
there is
wanted
nothing
I just wanted to throw a question to the floor. So
Okay.
from the beginning of this meeting to the end, I can see the focus is just on the man, the man, the man, the man, the man. So, like, what I had wanted to ask is, so in a situation where there is a conflict in a relationship, what should we, the men, to also expect from a lady, so that the lady, it can also solve the relationship or let things work out in a better way?
Okay, yeah, Mumuni, you've asked a very sensitive question. So I also think so if I was a lady, okay, I will need to exercise patience. Then hear from my partner. If I get the whole idea of what my partner says, then I'll also try and also say mine. Then we try and settle the matter in a nice way that the community or the outsiders will not hear of us arguing to that extent that people will have to come around and sometimes they do come around to separate them. They have to move one partner from the location or from the house to a different place. So that is what I would say.
So by then, I also think that this question would have been properly answered if we would have been able to hear from the other side too. Because with all
Okay.
what you are saying, that is from our point of view or what we think should have been done. But maybe they would have also be having things to also say in one way or the other. It might have also enlightened us or maybe correct us to say what we would have said properly.
Okay. That's true. That's true. Gloria, please, I don't know if you are available. Can you please step in for us as a woman?
Omoni, what's the question?
So the question is, from the beginning of this meeting to the end, we can see that all what we are saying is what the man can do to make things work out better in the case of conflict. So what I'm asking is, what should the lady also do if should in case you are having a conflict between the two of you then your partner?
Well, so from the beginning, I think what you said something about the woman being, is it basic? I've forgotten what the word you used about. Uh,
I made mention they think shallowly.
yes, yes, that was the word you said. Yeah, but I think one thing men need to know is women are unique. Yes, majority might be more emotional and shallow-minded. I wouldn't even say majority, some. Because now, because of education, women are more enlightened, more they don't react to things like previously it was, because there are times in the past they would say that a man should be the only one to hear the news of somebody dying. Let's keep the woman inside because of how she react to it. But we've moved on from that era. Yes, women are still emotional, but because of education and experiences they have seen, they have a little bit more matured now. So they use more of their brain too. So I would say not a lot of women are shallow, depending on their experience or who raised them. So when it comes to solving conflict now, depending on the person's background, that's one thing we always have to consider, where the person comes from, the family, from that background or the experience the person had is how they will react to conflict. And we've seen that in marriages. Like I'm married, I have my friends who are also married. And I just spoke to a friend of mine, a male friend, and he was also telling me how they've noticed that there's a trend of how their parents argue, how their parents respond to argument, how they were raised is what is affecting their communication and arguments. So it's mostly about the background of how the person was raised and all that. But then some women have learned on their own, individuals have learned on their own, and they are getting way better now. So one main thing women see about men when it comes to conflict is when they are quiet. Yes. You keep quiet, you don't communicate because of ego, like Emmanuel said. And the other one is also because that's how the African man has been raised, not to use their voice. But there's a way that you can still use your voice that is calm, that is communicating. It's when the woman is starting to shout that I expect the men to be quiet, because when the woman is starting to shout, you know that you will not hear each other. So the man needs to move to the quiet zone when the woman starts to scream and all that. Yes, when she's being over dramatic, I agree with men moving to the quiet end, because if a man has to scream just to shut her up, men mostly wouldn't want to use their words. It turns into them using their actions, because that's how most men are. Most men use actions. That's why they are mostly quiet. And that's why, traditionally men were raised to be more quiet, because anytime they have to use their voice aggressively, it will turn into more of action. So I agree with men being quiet when the argument has turned into the woman screaming on top of her voice or shouting. Then you can be quiet. Sometimes you can also leave the argument for some time. But in terms of a woman's reaction, I think if you are communicating calmly with her and you also let her know that this is the way we can communicate, we need to be open about it, but respectful. Because that is one thing I've also realized in relationships and marriages, respectfulness. And this also goes back to our parents. I've had friends who, in their marriages, they insult each other. And when you go back, the dad was like that. The dad insults the mom. And the man right now, this is a young man, he does the same thing. He insults the wife when they are arguing. So being respectful is very important because you can't just be quiet. Most of the time, men are quiet, and I expected Paradise to actually also voice his concern, what actually happened, but respectfully, not insulting the other person, not shaming the woman to make the woman look like a prostitute. Because most of the time, that is what it usually turns into. When you break up and the woman is talking, then if the man finally talks, it's him trying to shame the woman, like Sarkodie did with Yvonne Nelson, shamed her to make her look like a prostitute. Not all women are prostitutes. And just because she's talking about what happened to her doesn't make her a prostitute. So yes, that's the only thing. Being respectful, because I know in the African society, they think respectfulness is only for the men, but it is reciprocal. You don't expect the woman to only respect you and not love you in return. You want both. You want both love and respect. It's the same way you communicate, in love and respect. I don't know if I answered your question, Mumuni, but that is what I would say from the woman's side. That's how I want to be treated as a woman. So that's how I can explain. I give my feedback on it.
Okay. Gloria, we thank you very much for your nice contribution and stepping in for us as a woman. Mumuni, please, are you okay with the suggestion?
Yeah, I'm very okay with what she said.
Okay.
Well, thank you. I hope I didn't bore you guys.
No.
Oh, no. We will get more women or more ladies to join us in the next coming episode, so that it will be more interesting.
That will make it more interesting.
Okay, I hope there's no question again. Okay, if there's no question again, I really thank you all for your nice contribution, and then we will continue next time, if God willing. And this program is brought to you by Kruche Foundation. And once again, thank you all. See you next week. Bye-bye.